So 346. I would have thought 350. That's what my original thought was at lunch. Maybe one more less, 1 wicket less. If anybody would have thought 450 and all, I mean, that is nonsense. This wicket has a lot of assistance. England has a decent bowling attack. They would have come back. But disappointing to see Mohammad Shami throwing his wicket away like that. That shot has nothing. He's a good hitter of the cricket ball. Even 10-15 runs. 10-15 runs make a lot of difference in these circumstances. We will go through the wickets one by one and then analyze the session. Take KL Rahul. Now that was actually there for the shot. Yesterday, at least on 7, 8, 9 occasions, KL Rahul played that shot to perfection. Today also, his head was there, body was there, follow through was there. It was interesting. It was interesting that KL Rahul went for the shot. Second ball, first ball, he had gotten a 2, just went to hand. The shot was very much on. If you see KL's reaction, you would know it went uppish. Dom Sibley took a low catch. Ollie Robinson struck. Important wicket because KL was looking supremely assured. Early start, early wicket to the day gave England momentum. Thereafter, the big moment of the morning. Ajinkya Rahane is playing pretty badly. Let's face it. I mean, he's playing, that shot pretty much away from the body. He and Cheteshwar Pujara urgently need to get their act together. There's no debate. There's no debate that you've got to get your act together. There's no consistency. And unless there is consistency, questions will be asked. No question, Ajinkya had a great hand in Melbourne. Great hand with that 100. Led from the front. Terrific player in the past. In that England series, that 60 was valuable. But the way he got out today, the way he got out in the WTC final, disappointing. WTC final, leg stump, edge gone. That trap that Neil Wagner set up for him, he was batting decently, exactly to the hand of the fielder at mid-wicket gone. Today, Jimmy Anderson too was extremely surprised. Outside off, it was a bit of a loosener. First ball from James Anderson. If you look at Anderson's reaction, you will know that he too was extremely surprised at that Ajinkya Rahane dismissal. Away from the body, just a slanted bat here and the catch to Joe Root. He and Cheteshwar Pujara. I mean, Pujara got 9 yesterday, but the 9 was a really painful 9. I mean, the number of times he got beaten, the number of times he could have gotten out in that streaky innings of 9. Both are not in form. You cannot continue on reputation. You've got to get your act together with urgency. There is no two ways about it. Because this is a very good Indian side and people are waiting in the wings. Hanuma Vihari, for example, after his Sydney heroics, has not played a single test match. Mayank Agarwal too is waiting in the wings. Can bat number 3. Will India try Mayank Agarwal for Cheteshwar Pujara in the next test match? These are important questions that will be asked because neither Pujara nor Rahane is inspiring any kind of confidence at the moment. I am always for patience. These are quality players. I am always for patience. They've got one more innings in this particular test match. I really, really hope for the sake of Indian cricket and for the sake of these two players who are quality acts, make no mistake, they will come good. If they don't, then obviously it is time you've got to ask these questions because the way they are getting out is not looking good at all. Rishabh Pant, very good innings again. 37, don't go by the runs, but given the context, 283 and look at the tail, Shami Bumrah, Siraj Ishant, you could have been all out for 300. I mean, all of a sudden, 30 runs, 7 wickets, such kind of a thing could have happened had Rishabh Pant at that point in time could have, he would have gotten out. Very good innings, showed resilience, was initially beaten a number of times by Anderson, stepped out a couple of times, walked into the delivery a couple of times, but then checked himself and a couple of good pull shots of Ollie Robinson set him on the roll. And as I said, a very, very important innings. That partnership of 50 runs, close to 50 runs with Ravindra Jadeja makes a massive difference in the context of the match. 300 and 350, hell and heaven difference. It's almost a 100-run difference in terms of value. So that's how important Rishabh Pant's innings was. 37 from a wicketkeeper batsman in difficult batting conditions, close to about 70, 80 odd balls. Good innings, very, very impressive innings. Yes, you might say it was an innocuous delivery from Mark Wood, slanting down, just a slider, and Rishabh Pant got an edge. But before that, he has contributed big time to the Indian cause, getting them closer to that 350 mark. Yesterday, when Joe Root won the toss in cloudy conditions, difficult conditions to bat on, if anybody would have said India will get 350, all of us would have put our hands up and said, oh wow, what a total that will be. Now we have become tad greedy. We want 375, we want close to 400 runs. Ravindra Jadeja still there. We have seen a little bit of a cameo from Jasprit Bumrah in the first test match. Ishant Sharma can hang in there. So one would expect Ravindra Jadeja to farm the strike, as he has successfully done before lunch in the last 5-6 overs. So if Ravindra Jadeja is able to do that for a next, another half an hour, 35-40 odd minutes, he will be able to add 20, 25, 30 more runs. Make no mistake, 370, 375 on this wicket is a tremendous score. 350 is also a very, very good score. Overcast conditions right through the day. India has a top quality bowling attack. If you see Moeen Ali, couple of balls started to move. You've got Jadeja. If the footmarks get more pronounced, he will pitch the ball right there and the ball will come in. There will be impact. Even the faster bowlers, if they land it there, there will be... If the pitch starts to deteriorate and if there is help for the bowlers from the wicket, and obviously the Indian bowlers will get the ball to swing much like their English counterparts. So 350 is a very, very good score. But if you really go down deep, you would want, being an Indian supporter, 375-ish. If you get to 375, another 29 more runs, that's a fantastic score at Lords. If you really check, the average score first innings last 5 test matches at Lords is 202. So if 375 is what India gets, now that will be one of the best batting efforts overseas in recent times. Think about it from the Australia series. Adelaide, under 236. The next one, Melbourne, 300, the Ajinkya Rahane effort, 300 plus. If you take the next one, Sydney, again, second innings, close 300. Fourth innings in Brisbane, you got to 336 in the first and you chased down with 329. So effectively, if you get 375, that will probably be the highest first inning score in an overseas thing for India in recent times. More importantly, if you see the conditions, if you see the kind of movement, even today morning, Ollie Robinson and Jimmy Anderson continuously generated, you will realize that this is an extremely, extremely handy total that the Indians already have on the board. So that's why the Ravindra Jadeja wicket, already 30 plus, yet another extremely important contribution being made by Ravindra Jadeja, is so very important. If he survives for another 30-40 minutes, that's all you need. He will farm the strike, he will get you another 20-25 runs. That 20-25 runs can well be the difference, because if you get to 370-75, as I said, it will be a fantastic total on this wicket. Fantastic total. From there on, chances are India's not going to lose. To expect England to get 400 and then India losing doesn't happen. Very, very rare that, England will sort of get a big, big total and India under pressure with a 4-pronged pace attack. Almost impossible, I would say. So if you get a 375 batting first at Lords, after you lose the toss and the opposition has sent you in, you should be very, very pleased with the effort. Coming to England's bowling, I thought Anderson, yes, was impressive, but I do think Mark Wood, Sam Curran have been underwhelming. They picked up a wicket each. Mark Wood with that slider, or Rishabh Pant, but Mark Wood has conceded quite a few runs. So has Sam Curran. Moeen Ali has rather kept it tight. Has bowled some decent lengths, even got the ball to get a little bit of purchase, has been able to exert some kind of control. But other than Anderson and Robinson, even Robinson has given a few freebies. Other than these two bowlers, The England bowling attack lacked teeth, and that in the absence of Stuart Broad was something that England will have to watch out for. In the morning, 283 for 5, I would have expected more pressure because all they needed was that one more wicket. If they got that one more wicket, they were big time into the Indian tail, and they could have, realistically thought of polishing India off for 310, 315, 320. As I said, it's a big difference between a 370 and a 310, 320 score. Because psychologically, you've crossed the 350 mark. You've gotten yourself in a position of strength, India. So that's a massive thing as far as this test match is concerned. It's the Ruth Strauss Day. That's why we are seeing everybody wear red. Most of the people in the crowd too are wearing red. And here I wish to make a point. The point is, we have seen this in Australia with the Jane Mugra Day. We are seeing it in England with the Ruth Strauss Day. Why don't we in India also dedicate one of our home matches to a cause? Because obviously if the BCCI gets behind it, and we have seen with COVID, so many children have lost their parents. I mean, and this is a phenomenon around the country. Why can't we dedicate ourselves to this and raise money for a cause through our cricket? Because it is very much doable. And if the BCCI and the players get behind it, I think it will be a very noble cause. Some other important news points before I take the questions. Unmukh Chand calling it a day. From what I know, Unmukh might well travel to the United States and start playing for the United States of America. Called it a day because he was quite bitter. Went to Uttarakhand for a while, was in and out. As my friend Kushan Sarkar tweeted, maybe if he had a season of 1,000 runs, it would have been better for Unmukh Chand. But one would remember Unmukh for that Under-19 World Cup exploit. Very talented cricketer, unfortunately could not make the most of it. But I wish Unmukh Chand all the very best going forward. Chances are he might go to the United States and we might see Unmukh Chand play cricket for the United States in the near future. Other important news from Olympic sport, Vinesh Phogat in an article today in the Indian Express, some very important points raised by her. Issue of mental health, that one medal, the country is treating her, very bad and very unfortunate. Some very important points made there that, with COVID and post-COVID, how she had to fight the demons, how her diet went for a toss, salt tablets, all said and done. Vinesh Phogat, talking about and bringing to the fore the very important issue of mental health and what an athlete goes through and how debilitating it is for an athlete to face this kind of public wrath. And when the Wrestling Federation of India has already show-caused Vinesh Phogat for the reasons. She has given a couple of reasons that because of COVID, she was apprehensive whether to stay on with the Indian team there. And because she had COVID twice. So the question that can be asked, on the contrary, is if you've had COVID twice, would you have had it again? Number two, did you inform anybody in that Indian contingent, especially the chef de mission Boisho, Mr. Baisha, that you wouldn't be able to stay and that is the reason you wanted a separate room? The one thing that Vinesh has not answered, and I think where she has gone wrong, is why was she wearing a Nike singlet? Why wasn't she wearing the Indian team jersey when it was a policy by the government of India? The government of India, the sports ministry, Sai Iwe, had dropped leaning and everybody wore an Indian jersey without a company's name there. Why would Vinesh Phogat? And that is not there in the piece. And this is an important point. Make no mistake, it's an act of indiscipline. If you did not wear the team jersey, whatever your mental state may have been, that is an act of indiscipline. That is not to take away from the fact that the questions Vinesh Phogat raises in the piece are extremely serious. That is why I have tweeted today. We had a 120-member contingent in Tokyo. 6 individuals won. 6 individuals, Bajrang Punia, PV Sindhu, Meera Chanu. If you actually take a look, Ravi Dahiya, Neeraj Chopra, and the men's hockey team, among the team, they won. So 6 individuals plus 1 team is what we have won. So 2 medals from wrestling in Bajrang and Ravi, 1 medal in athletics from Neeraj, that's 3, 1 medal in Baddi from Sindhu, 4, 1 medal from Chanu, 5, one from boxing, Lovelina 6, and one from the hockey team, that's 7. So effectively you're talking about 6 individuals plus 16 members, chalo, 18 members of the hockey team. So you're talking about 6 plus 16, 22, and the women hockey players are also being celebrated and felicitated. So another 16. So 22 plus 16, 38. Aditya Ashok, 39. Maybe 1 or 2 more. So take 40 people of a contingent of 120 are being celebrated. So that's 1/3. 70% of your athletes, do we really know what they're going through? We all celebrated Simone Biles. Do we know what a Manu Bhaker is going through? Do we know what a Deepak Punia who lost a medal 10 seconds, what he is going through, what his mental health is like? Do we know how he is dealing with failure? Do we know how depressed Deepak Punia is? Or for that matter, an Aditya Ashok is, or for that matter, anybody. A Manish Kaushik, an Ashish, a Pooja Rani, a Satish, take the wrestlers, anyone you want to talk about. Do we really know? Do we really know what these athletes are going through? And Ella Vanille Valerie, how old is she? 19. So much of pressure to deal with. We have seen the example of Simone Biles. Vinesh Phogat, at least, I mean, there are questions, but Vinesh Phogat has spoken out. And as I said, some extremely pertinent points raised, the jersey issue notwithstanding, the logo rather issue notwithstanding, very important points raised. But some of the other athletes, we have 80 such athletes who we do not even know what they are going through. It is extremely important that we raise these questions and ask these questions about athletes' mental health, about what they are going through, how they are dealing with failure, how they are dealing with depression, because yesterday's failures are tomorrow's heroes. That's how you preserve your athletes and you make them into heroes come the Commonwealth, come the Asian Games, and come Paris. So that's another point I wish to make. Coming to questions about the first session. Okay, Joyanto Shaha. Is it time to look ahead of Pujara? Important question raised, blessing David. Unless Cheteshwar Pujara gets his act together, very important question raised, and I think, yes, it is a valid point. Pant gifts his wicket in advance before. No, I think that innings by Rishabh Pant was an extremely important and superb one, Naveen Tripathi. Batting against the new ball, he came in when the ball was 10 overs old, 11 overs old, that 37, is worth its weight in gold, that innings, because that is the difference between a 300 all out and a 350 plus score. Talk about Pujara. I've already spoken about why only Pujara, why single out Pujara. Pujara and Ajinkya, both of them are not looking assured. And it is important that with urgency, the two of them get their act together, because if they do not do that, very, very important questions need to be asked of both Ajinkya and Pujara. Abhinav, Rangarajan, Pujara, Rahane, Ashwin would have been better. That's not the point. That's not the point. You just don't talk about Ashwin because you are already playing 5 bowlers. You will not play 6. You will play Hanuma Vihari for Ajinkya and you will play Mayank for Pujara. So you would have to talk about those batters who are waiting in the wings and could have gotten a looking. Excellent work, Tokyo. Cheering PV Sindhu match. Vihari for Rahane. As I said, Balaji, that's a question I've already raised, and I think that's a very valid question. Vihari again, Om Prakash Nagiseti. That's the question we've already answered. Top Sports Journal of India, not even 100 live viewers. Why? Who cares? How many people listens to classical music? The fact is, in Tokyo, universally we know the intensity. Universally we know about quality. There are some jokers out there in the market. If people listen to them, that is their problem, not yours and mine. It is never about numbers, never will be. It is about quality. So enjoy the quality and relax. I have never done programs for numbers. And also it is important, English is an issue still. If you do programs in Hindi, the mass language, there are these issues. But frankly, you know what? I have never ever, and even from Tokyo, everybody was praising and all of that was happening with so much intensity, the coverage. It is about you, how you want to cover sport. That's where the matter ends. While it is not denigrating anybody, a Bollywood number will have far more views or listeners than a really top quality classical music. I mean, take Western classical. Will you have more numbers? Maybe not compared to a contemporary meal. But will you say it's not good quality? So let's not get into that at all. Are you enjoying the show? If you are not, you tell me why, Parth Shah, you are not enjoying the show. Shamik Das, where do you think... what is the question, Shomik? I don't understand that question. Send it again. Expecting runs from Shami. Yes, you are right, Vinay. I do expect people to put a price on their wicket, because that shot was a nothing shot, and that's what irritates me. It frustrates me when a batsman just gives it away, because Mohammad Shami has some big shots in his repertoire. And even if you get 10, 15, it makes a big difference. Ajinkya Rahane, Indranil, lucky century. Boss, it was not a lucky century. It was a fantastic century. It's not about, so don't call it a lucky century. It was an incredibly good 100. He's still in the playing 11? No, not because of that 100. He's been consistent for India. But as I said, no one's above the game. If you are not performing, questions will be asked, and that is why we are raising these questions. Sriram More, no 3-4, 5 trouble now time. Rest one person, that is 3 and 5 rested next match. Possible, because Pujara and Rahane are serious question marks at this point in time. What should Rahane do to get back in touch? Feel more self-assured. Know where his off-stump is. Maybe if you see his last few innings, take Johannesburg, aggressive. Take Melbourne, aggressive. Played his shots. He's always countered. He was big time within his shell. Maybe he should think about being a tad more aggressive, a tad more proactive. What do you think, Boryada? Virat is lacking in his weakness. There was no weakness, out of form, but he played him. So the hard work was visible against the run of play, getting out. But he too, was struggling initially. What was really important was the effort. Those 43 runs, 100-run partnership for that wicket made a massive difference for India. Okay, Rahul Singh. Rahane had a series like Pujara of 18, Kohli of 18 England, 1 century for every 3 series. You see, he has contributed even and in important matches, but more recently the kind of inconsistency is a worry, and that is why we are seeing this. Why are we carrying Rahane? We are carrying Rahane because he deserves to be carried so far, but now that he's turning inconsistent, Rishikesh, questions will be asked. Rahul, had Kohli not scored 42, all out, come on. We've seen the partnership between Pant and Jadeja. So there's no, why talk nonsense? There's no need of talking complete rubbish, isn't it? The Pant-Jadeja partnership was an extremely valuable one. Virat and Pant's innings cannot go unnoticed, Austin. Extremely important point, and I think a very fair point. Utkarsh, according to me, England will not win this match. Too early to say, Utkarsh. Let's not jump the gun. But 375 if India gets from here, I do not see India losing. Absolutely, I do not see India losing. Okay, I've taken quite a few questions. That's where I will end this show. 370-75, I don't see India lose. With this bowling attack, England bat fourth, will get tougher and tougher. Even a 200, 210, 220 chase will be extremely difficult for England. India definitely in the box seat. Let's see if they can get 20, 25 more runs. Please keep supporting Sports Today. And like you said, spread the word. Ring the notification bell. And people who want to watch, let them watch. It's great to interact with you all. Thank you very much for watching.